My name is Hadley Bajramovic. I am the senior attorney and CEO of the Immigration Law Offices of Hadley Bajramovic in California. Our office has extensive experience, knowledge, and everything you need to have to be senior immigration attorneys. We have more than 8,000 cases with extremely high success rates. The reason why I am laying that foundation right now is because I want you to listen to us. We just had an election that was jolting. Everybody is still a little bit depressed about it every time. Today, I've seen a new appointment by Trump to some new agency that he created for his friends like Elon Musk and VAWA. It's still like post traumatic distress, like I'm being triggered. And, I believe probably you are too. But I'm here today with Marty. Marty is my executive assistant in the office. She has to handle all of our consultations, scheduling, and talk to the clients daily. And, after the election and after the court decision on keeping families together, PIP, Marty, you're having to deal with a lot of the fallout, the anxiety, the struggle that our community is facing. So, what are you hearing?
Everyone is scared. They don't know what to do or think. They don't feel safe in their homes, not even their jobs now. It's just a huge concern. They know it's about to hit.
Yeah, we've got, I don't know, 70 days until the inauguration.
Roughly. Yeah.
Yeah, and that will be January 20th or 21st. I think it's on Martin Luther King Day, which is so ironic
Yeah.
that we're about ready to see an administration that will probably be behind some gross human rights violations as Trump has announced mass deportations will happen immediately. Logistically, we don't think that can happen, but what we're here to do now, our work over the next 2 months is to prepare. We've been through this before. We lived through the same week in 2016. I didn't know how bad it would be because we thought it was bluster and Trump saying things to win an election. Back then, it was him coming down an escalator saying, the Mexicans are sending us their rapists and murderers. Some of them might be good people. Now we know that he's serious and that he put Stephen Miller in a deputy advisor position, which means things are not going to be good. So I'm here to discuss with Maury what we can do to prepare ourselves. Preparation is the key to everything going better. I worked with the consulate in Mexico during the last Trump election and inauguration, and we learned a lot then. And the very first thing that in our area happened, somebody reminded me of this. We already worked with the immigration community through the consulate in Mexico at that time, but then the consulate of Guatemala said, wait a minute, had emergency meetings immediately and said, how can we support the community? And the consulates all agreed, have immigration attorneys advise people in the consulates. And I don't know what programs are in the consulate of Mexico, but I can tell you that we are here in our office. We are here to provide you with immigration consultations to look at your history and tell you what chances you have of some type of immigration relief. And you would be surprised at how many people we can find a way that did not know they had a way. And we ask questions that tell us things about your past that you may not have realized, or even if you've been the victim of a crime. I think a lot of people know about that. Don't you, Maury? I mean, I think that's pretty much a well-known type of relief in the community. The U visa is what I'm referring to. Do you think that people know about the U visa?
I think some do, but I think there's also a percentage that has no idea until they start getting informed. And setting up a consultation with any office is just informing themselves if they qualify.
Yeah. Okay. And what about VAWA, the Violence Against Women's Act? That's if you're the victim of abuse, physical or emotional abuse by a spouse, like a U.S. citizen spouse or green card holding spouse, even a child can be abusive.
Yeah, I don't think a lot
Um,
of people know about that one particularly more than U visa. So it's great to be informed. And like Hadley said, go out and inform yourselves. And you never know if there's some relief for you.
yeah. And those are two that people don't know about. Sometimes people don't realize that they have a relief called 245. We identify a client's parents have a green card and we ask, well, how did your parent get a green card? Oh, well, somebody petitioned my mom in the 90s. My next question would be, well, were you born? And they'll say, yes. And then we'll realize that they have a path to a green card, maybe through one of their children. So the consultation will allow you to know if you have relief, and they're also therapeutic because you can talk about your fears with a professional who I hear people's fears every day, and I can talk to you about how to alleviate your fears and to be prepared. And one thing that you can do now and not put yourself on the radar, so many people don't know what happened to them when they tried to cross the border in the 90s or early 2000s. They don't know what happened to them in court. And when I say them, I'm talking about many people who come to me and say, I don't know what happened. I just remember being in a room where they have a vague recollection of being in court or being detained by CBP. And all of those details matter in a lot of the different types of immigration relief, immigration cases that we file. So, doing the comprehensive background check now is one way to take control of your future and understand what's available to you. And I don't know if people know they can do comprehensive background checks. Do you know, Maury, if people know about these checks, or do they come in the office and hear it for the first time that they can do these kind of background checks? What do you think?
I think most probably know about the FOIA, but there's also other background checks that are more in depth
Right.
that we can offer to them.
Yeah, because the evolution of OBIM for the past 5 years has been dramatic, meaning that we get better results. OBIM is an Office Biomass Information Management. I don't know what the acronym stands for exactly, but it's biometrics information. So we can send your fingerprints to the OBIM office, OBIM, and we will get a report of every time that your fingerprints have been taken and your photos have been taken. And it tells us a lot. It's very revealing and helps us plan a lot better. Maria, you mentioned the FOIA, which is requesting your backgrounds from different agencies. Mostly we do it with the USCIS. And sometimes we get CBP records, Customs and Border Patrol records with the FOIA CIS. And then we do FBI to find out basically if there's a criminal issue or a removal. The FBI reports show expedited removals and removals in court.
I think they just need to know they can get either one record or all three, depending on how comfortable they feel. But we do offer very in depth background checks.
We can have the records sent to our office and not disclose the individual's address. That way, we put a buffer and protect our clients.
Yeah, especially now with these times that they're going to be a little more scared for providing their information.
Yeah, and again, I mean, it all comes back to get an immigration consultation. I mean, this is what people do when they feel sick, right? They go to a doctor.
Yep.
We need to diagnose your situation and tell you what your treatment plan is. And that's what we do. I already mentioned that we have done this for more than 8,000 people. Over my career, I've talked to 20,000 people, and uh, this has given me what I call special forces training in issue spotting and understanding the law and what we can do to help people. We have 3 other attorneys in the office that collaborate with me. We work together. And frankly, when you have a law firm with 4 attorneys, you get better service. That's not to denigrate or say anything bad about solo attorneys, but solo attorneys, a lot of them around here come together in different ways to learn from each other at different types of meetings, ALA organizations. We did that too, but we always have internally groups that can talk through cases. And when we all work together, we're stronger and we come up with better plans and more information. It's like having a team of doctors when you have a medical condition. It's better to have a team than just one doctor working on it. Please accept our help. Please accept it. We're a firm that gives all initial consultations free, so you don't have anything to lose. Additionally, I wanted to talk about something that might be a little bit scary to hear, but it was part of what we discussed back in the prior Trump administration about family planning. Unfortunately, we know there will be deportations. We don't know how they will be focused. I've heard rumors like maybe they're only going to deport people that arrived in the past 2 years, people who have removal orders from an immigration judge, people who have been ordered removed through expedited removal by Customs and Border Patrol. These people that are probably going to be targeted are mostly in some kind of a mixed family with green card holders and citizens, children, spouses, parents. And so urge everybody to talk to the family, to sit together and make a plan of how the family will react if a family member who is undocumented and at risk is taken into custody. And I believe that those are conversations that are being had now.
I think it's a smart idea just to have everyone have a plan just in case. We never know what's going to happen. But it's a conversation that must be had.
We talked about phone trees back in the prior Trump administration, that if somebody is taken into custody, who will make sure they have the number to call the attorney. It's very important that we get the call that a client or a potential client has been taken into custody in the morning, especially here in Southern California, because ICE or CBP can deport somebody to Mexico within hours. If they've been detained at 4:30 in the morning, which is how ICE normally conducts their field operations at 4:30 in the morning when people are waking up and confused, they use the shock and awe method. They'll follow people when they're pulling out to go to work. They'll follow the car and pull them down over 2 or 3 blocks away from the house so the family members don't know. The way that ICE conducts field operations is really early in the morning. If the family can get to us in the morning, we can go out to a local detention office, talk to your family member, and go over quickly what our options are to prevent them from being deported. Being prepared and having a family plan to react quickly and to make sure that we know is very important. Another way to prepare, and this one is a little bit more terrifying but necessary, is to draft letters of preferred custody in case you're deported and there's small children, and it happens. And I'm sorry to say it happens. I hate that it happens, but it happens. The parents are deported while their children are in school. Today, Trump appointed Kristi Noem as the director of Department of Homeland Security, and she has no empathy at all. If you are undocumented and you have children in school, it is probably a good idea to prepare letters of preferred custody so that the family can have the authority to take care of the children. But first, come to us, talk to us, and let us help you. Those are my main talking points for today.
Yeah, I think
What do you
it's all very important. It's gather everyone in your family, just let them know what ifs, could haves, get a family plan, and just get a consultation. It's free. You never know. Just call. Again, it's free.
Yeah, I know it always surprises me, the people that are picked up and taken into custody. One thing that's important to note, we're in California. Maury and I are in Riverside, California. California has laws that prevent local police from cooperating in ICE investigations. We don't really have that fear of being pulled over in routine traffic stops and being detained as a result of that because it's not supposed to happen here.
Yeah, I did hear about that. Especially California will be one of the states that the police will not be involved as far as any deportation.
Yeah. They were, and I know some human right activists are watching, like in Riverside, the sheriff's department supposedly does not abide the way the law requires them to. And some rogue instances of people being taken into custody after routine traffic stops. But the rest of the country, I don't know. I can't tell you that those protections are in place. I don't know each state and the laws that are enacted by the state as far as law enforcement actively assisting ICE in investigations. I know that we've had clients pulled over in Texas and Virginia and Georgia that were driving cross country and were pulled over for maybe speeding, and our clients were arrested and detained for immigration purposes. So being in California is a good place to be, but you shouldn't have to leave your family if you live in a state where you don't have these types of protections. And that's why it's important, no matter where you are, from the East Coast to the West Coast, from North to South, that you talk to an immigration attorney like myself who's willing to take a 30-minute consultation and discuss your situation and help you to know what your risk is and what to do and how to plan.
Now,
'Cause
giving
there's
all the information that everybody wants and doesn't want to hear, but it's something that must be heard.
Yeah, I'm trying very hard not to scare people, but at the same time, I don't want anybody to be in that position of not knowing. We've had people in the past who've been deported and we realized that they were US citizens. I mean, those things happen. So if you speak to an immigration attorney and know your situation, you're in a much better position than if you didn't. A lot of times we tell people how to advocate for themselves if they are taken into custody. And the times I've had that opportunity to prepare my clients, it worked. So that's why it's so important. And don't talk to a notario. We know the notario probably got your cousin their green card. Notarios are not attorneys. And also, attorneys that practice other types of law, like family law or contracts, don't want to talk about immigration. Don't ask them to talk about immigration because they don't know, just like I don't know how to do a divorce. I'm an attorney, but I don't have the experience to advise on a divorce. Only immigration attorneys that have 5 years of experience are the right attorneys to talk to now, that have been working in removal proceedings in humanitarian and family cases. Those are the attorneys that you want to talk to. We were in a lot of Know Your Rights workshops back in the prior Trump administration, and we tell people in this workshop what to do if ICE shows up at your door, what to do if you're in custody. It'll be very thorough. Please accept our help, and we will talk to you soon.